is QFD? QFD is defining about customer need or requirement and translating them into specific plan to produce product to meet those needs. Okay, the VOC or voice of the customer is the term to describe this state and unstated customer need or requirement. The voice of the customer is captured in a variety of ways such as direct discussion or interview survey and others. This understanding of the customer need is then summarized in the product training metric or house of quality. These metrics are used to use the highest levels what or need into the lowest levels house. Why implement QFD? First, customer focus. QFD methodology places the emphasis on the want and the need of the customer. The voice of customer is translated into technical design specification. During the QFD process, design specifications are driven down from machine level to system, subsystem, and component level requirement. Second, VOC competitor analysis. The QFD house of quality tool allow for direct comparison of how your design product stack up of the competition in meeting the VOC. This quiet analysis can be beneficial in making design decisions that could place you ahead of the pack. Third, shorter development time and lower cost. QFD focusing on product feature and improvement based on customer requirement. Effective QFD methodology prevent variable project time and resources from being wasted on development or non-value feature or function.
One should use QFD as soon as there is a well-understood customer and their challenges and desire have been quantifiably captured. QFD can be incorporated into the product development process. It is most effective when it is used throughout the entire product lifecycle, as its main purpose is to ensure the constant focus on the voice of the customer, VOC. QFD is most appropriate when the companies are focused on the relative iterative innovation versus something completely new. Since there is a large base of customer feedback and input to drive the process. How does QFD work? QFD process begins with collecting inputs from the customer through survey. The customer requirement, requests, demands, and preferences are framed as specific items and ideally ranked in terms of important lists in the left-hand side of HOQ metric. From here, the technical requirement can be created with each of them tying back to the VOC item. These VOC items will continue to trickle down into other stages of the product development and deployment, including component definition, process planning, and quality control. Benefit of QFD. QFD is a powerful and effective prioritization tool which combines several various types of metrics into one to form a house-like structure. This provides documentation for decision-making process and helps to translate the customer requirement into the specific offering. Advantages of QFD. Constantly and consistently circling back to the customer might seem like overkill, but it quickly identifies and often cuts short any activity that doesn't need of providing product that customer want to buy. By limiting product development activity, the overall process is more faster, more efficient, and less expensive. Since collecting customer inputs and applying them throughout the product development process is such a cross-functional activities, it can also increase teamwork and ensure the entire organization is aligned around the same goal as the customer satisfaction instead of competing with other internal priorities. Disadvantages of QFD. The focus of QFD on the customer can also have some negative repercussions if the customer needs to drive up product costs or delay technological innovation that could benefit the company down the line. QFD's customer focus also places a huge emphasis on the survey result, which if poorly designed or executed could push the company in the wrong direction.
house of quality. HOQ defined as a product planning metric that is used to show how customer requirement, how the company use that method to achieve the requirement. Then it has diagram resembling a house used for defining the relationship between customer desire and the product capability. Left side has the customer needs. Ceiling has the design features and technical requirements. The roof, a metric describing the relationship between the design features, used to show how the design requirements interact with each other. Interrelationship metric, competitive data, based primarily on the customer's perspective. Planning and comparison. In automotive manufacturing, this information will help manufacturer to know where the improvement of car is needed and satisfy the customer. What, how, and its relationship. First, the initial step to implement the quality function deployment are to put together that is customer need. Technically specification and relationship between both customer needs and technically specification. Second, voice of customer. Third, importance of customer need. Fourth, final stage in identifying customer requirement. Now, the table of what? Show the importance of customer need on the scale of 1 to 5, and in which 5 being the highest priority and 1 being the least priority. What also is ranked and rated according to the customer preference. Then the table how shows information collected from the surveys about customer requirement. Relationship between what and how, used to build the house of quality metric. Steps to the house of quality. First, customer requirement. Second, technical descriptor. Third, relation metric. Fourth, correlation matrix. 5, customer assessment.
Phase process is a methodology in quality function deployment. There are 4 phases, also known as 4 levels in this process. First, level 1 QFD. This level was used during product definition phase, starting from collection of VOC and translating it into product specification. The technical requirement that derive from VOC then can be deployed to appropriate team within the organization and populated into level 2 QFD for more detailed analysis. This is the first step in driving VOC throughout product design process. Second, level 2 QFD. This level was used during product or design development phase. Using this level, the team can discover which of assembly, system, subsystem, and component that has most impact on meeting the product design requirement. They also can identify the key design characteristics. Third, level 3 QFD. This level was used during process development phase. This level examines which of process steps that have any correlation to meeting the component specification. The information that we get from this level will allow the production and quality teams to focus on critical to quality CTQR process, which flow down into level 4 QFD for future examination. Lastly, for level 4 QFD, this level is not utilized often as the previous 3. Within this level, the team should list all critical process characteristics. Through this level, the team can determine which control could be most useful and develop quality target for each other. This information also may be used for creating work instruction or as an input to control plan.
Capturing the voice. The process of capturing the voice of the customer is described in the paper on product definition and step for performing QFD. It is important to remember that there is no one monolithic voice of the customer. Customer voices are diverse. In consumer market, there are variety of different needs. Even within one buying unit, there are multiple customer voices. For example, children versus parent. This applies to industry and government market as well. There are even multiple customer voices within a single organization. For example, the voice of procuring organization, the voice of the users, and the voice of the supporting or maintenance organization. This diverse voice must be considered, reconciled, and balanced to develop a truly successful product. One technique to accomplish this is use multiple columns for different priority rating associated with each customer voice in the product planning metric. Next, QFD methodology flow. The basic quality function deployment methodology involve four basic phase. First, product planning. Product planning is define and prioritize customer need and analyze competitive opportunity. Second, assembly or part deployment, which is identify critical part and assembly and flow down the characteristic. Third, process planning, which is determine the processes and process flow. Next, process or quality control, determine the critical part and process characteristic. Next part is product planning using QFD. They are organized by category based on affinity diagram, ensure the customer need or requirement reflect the desired market segment, address the unspoken need, assume and estimate capability. If the number of need or requirement exceed 20 or 30 items, decompose the matrix into smaller modulars or subsystem to reduce the number of requirements in a matrix.
I will explain about a part of concept and product design. So, what is concept and product design? Concept and product design is a product requirement or technical characteristic and product specification as a basic for developing product concept. There are some products which is product benchmarking, brainstorming, research and development as the source for new product concepts. Next, we will see about the table of the concept selection matrix. These tables are to evaluate the satisfying of each criteria. And there are the most three important numbers in this table. Here is the 5, 3 and 1. 5 represent the strong number, 3 represent the moderate number, while the 1 represent the weak number. And the higher total will be the preferred concept of this table. From this table, we can show that the concept D has the highest total number, which is 144. Next, we will see about the product design process. These are the table of the product design process. Product requirement or technical characteristics can be translated into critical subsystem, assembly or parts listed. The important rating, calculate and target value for each critical can be the assembly or part of the characteristic. The example of the assembly and part of deployment matrix. Next, we will move on the process planning matrix. For this table, you can see that important process and tooling requirements can be identified to focus the effort to control, improve, and upgrade the process and equipment. It can be a more detailed planning related to process control, quality control setup, equipment. And this is the table of the process quality control matrix. It is the basis for planning and decision making. The significant effect on producing product to meet customer needs, to the design and manufacturing decision to satisfying those customer needs. Quality function development process. As you can see, there are 4 processes of it. Processes are to design error-free process. So we will move to the first point, which is the product planning QFD. As you can see, it is to help identify service offering characteristics and analyze competitive opportunity, establish critical target value to the best meet customer require. The second point is the component deployment. It is help to identify the critical part and using the prioritized offering characteristic to establish production and inspection method from the process element of QFD3. The conclusion of our topic is to solve the current problem and the house of quality matrix. We also must satisfy the customer expectation as we can. The customer expectation is very important for us. And from the above analysis, we can know that the company's strength and weakness is very important for the product development of the car system. It is also the success rate of a new product depend on our quality. That's all from us. Thank you.